want to take you back to a moment where I was on a discovery call with a potential client who was inquiring, having a conversation with me about a $6,000 offer that I had created. Now, this offer was put together in a way that didn't have me giving out my whole entire soul and my day and night availability like I had previously done. And as I was ready to tell them to invite them inside, of course, they asked the question, "This sounds amazing, but how much is it?" I sat there ready to say my price and I couldn't speak. I literally couldn't speak. I completely froze. I felt my face go red. I felt my throat tighten. And I started reaching for my go-to, oh, it is $6,000, except I could just add this and this, and you get this with it. We'd already talked about what was included. We'd already talked about the support. And I went for my default way of overgiving. I went for my default way of over-explaining. And not because I didn't think that the offer wasn't worth $6,000, not even because I had issue receiving $6,000. But because in that moment, receiving felt like a threat to me. Because if I took that money, the money for an offer where I was intentionally doing less, but still delivering such a high transformation, but not having to be on all the time, with clear boundaries in my Slack space, if I took that money by doing less, I felt like I would owe them. And the problem with that is that I had created these offers to match my nervous system's capacity. And so if I owed somebody, then I was essentially saying I was committing to something that I didn't have the capacity for. Because at that point, I was already well and truly committed to my therapeutic model of my business. I was in this transition phase. It just felt unsafe for me. I'm going to talk about that today. Welcome back to Resourced. This is the podcast where soul-led entrepreneurs, healers, coaches, practitioners, service-based business, where we are building sustainable success without sacrificing your values and who you are and your health and well-being. My name is Jessica Reed. I am your guide in this space where energy meets strategy and emotional clarity becomes your business superpower. And in today's episode, we are exploring what happens when receiving doesn't feel good, when a potential sale lands like a void instead of a win. So notice if your body tenses the moment that you name your price, or you're pushing through a launch with a frozen nervous system, this conversation today is for you. I'm actually going to share with you 3 tangible practices to refill your emotional and energetic container before your sales calls, before your webinars, so that you can speak your investment from grounded fullness, not just empty performance. So let's begin by talking about the conversation I've seen a lot online recently, and that is about being able to charge your energy, be in your, energy charge, your charge energy. It's about quoting your pricing with confidence. And what we're not talking about enough in that conversation, and I know this deeply because I have lived it. That's how She Holds Wealth came about, because this is my lived experience. I have very much gone through this journey. What we're not talking about is the emotional and somatic fullness required to even access that state. Because if your body is in a freeze, if your nervous system is whispering, don't take too much or they're going to leave, don't charge too much because you don't have the energetic capacity to give more and more, then no amount of DM scripts or pricing scripts are going to help you with that. Because your system is registering receiving as a risk. So before you step onto your sales call, your alignment call, your webinar, whatever it is, where you are sharing your stories, where you are sharing your investment in your program, I want you to have this check. Have I actually filled myself first? And I'm going to share with you 3 practices now that I come back to again and again. They are so simple, but I promise they are so powerful. These practices form a lot of the foundation of what we do inside of my She Holds Wealth program. We are creating somatic safety around pricing and charging. In She Holds Wealth, we actually create subconscious rewiring as well around pricing and receiving. So let's start by grounding first. Before you even write the post, okay, inviting people into your offer. And yes, this goes for posts as well. We can feel the energy if you don't want to share your investment. Before you hop on a call, before you are in your sales webinar and you're inviting people into your program, I want you to pause. And you can do this now if you like. Do a big, beautiful, deep breath right down into your diaphragm. Really open up and drop in. Just drop your awareness down and scan your body and just observe, is there contraction in your shoulders, in your jaw, your belly, or your throat? Can you ground yourself? Can you do this before you give? This is so important because you are interrupting the automatic stress response that is coming before you have to share your investment. Every time you do this, you are putting a circuit breaker in your automatic response. So grounding first. The next thing is a morning practice that you might like, and it is again so simple. I am doing this one slightly different, very similar though. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm doing it still in bed. Mine is very tailored to my current financial goals, but it is about receiving. And so each morning I place a hand on my belly and a hand on my chest or my throat if that's feeling tight. And I ask myself, where do I feel blocked receiving today? And then I breathe gently into those places. And you can do this while you're brushing your teeth if you like, or while you're brewing your coffee, or you can do it really mindfully. But here is the thing about our breath. Our breath is the receiving. And some mornings I see that as receiving this color of abundance. Sometimes I see myself receiving exactly what it is that I am manifesting into my world. Sometimes I just say I am receiving and I feel that energy of receiving as I receive the breath. And then I give as I exhale. I'm giving my service. I'm giving whatever it is I'm giving. I literally just let myself roll with what comes up. But we're receiving and we're giving with each breath in and each breath out. And what you will find, again, coming back to that automatic stress response state, is that if you are in a more space of dysregulation, if you're in a chronic state of stress, then you are likely breathing no deeper than your chest. And so if your breath is that anchor to receiving, you're not receiving. Receiving starts with your breath. Okay, so that is something that you can do every single morning and visualize, see, sense, feel, receiving what it is that you are calling into your world. And the third thing, the third practice that's really going to help you, the third ritual, is to name a moment that you received something energetically meaningful. Okay, so a client message that made you well up with emotion, a walk where you just felt this soul yes, and then an idea dropped in like lightning. Anchor into that win and let that be enough for today. Because receiving isn't going to start with money. Receiving, even in your pricing, receiving in that energetic exchange of investment in your business is going to start with you receiving in your breath. It's going to start with you receiving kindness, receiving help, receiving gratitude, receiving ideas, receiving joy. It is going to help with you receiving. Okay, receiving pleasure as well, all connected. All connected to your ability to receive in your pricing. If you feel like receiving is something that you are struggling with, I know it certainly was for me. It was a big piece of my money puzzle. And I got really focused just on my money mindset and just on the stories. And yes, they do play such a huge role because those stories are determining what you believe is safe. The beliefs you hold around money are determining what you believe is safe. But then we need to be able to also receive as well. And my body did not feel comfortable or safe receiving. In fact, I felt unworthy to receive. And so, this process of identifying the stories, creating that somatic safety, grounding into receiving, and then also being able to speak your pricing clearly because it is no longer attached to your worth. This is what we do in She Holds Wealth. She Holds Wealth is a 14-day, I guess we could call it a ritual practice. We have 14 lessons, 14 practices where you are actually shifting your whole pricing energetics right from the inside out. Because when your body is full, your presence lands differently and your content lands. And your price, it feels like an invitation instead of a risk of rejection. And when you deeply feel this, you are going to stop whispering your worth. You start actually embodying your worth. And you're not sharing your price like I was at the beginning of this episode in my story to have to prove something. We're not having to add things in to have to prove that we're worthy of charging this. But we're doing this in a way that we've already validated it in our own system. My She Holds Wealth rituals, they are not optional. They are a daily devotion because before you hold space for pricing, you hold space inside yourself. So if you would like to spend 14 days rewiring your whole relationship with pricing and receiving and finding your voice again in sharing that investment, then I invite you into that container. As I share this today, it is only $97 and it is linked down below in the show notes and you get instant access to that. You can literally go and start right now. And if today's episode has landed with you, I want you to come and share with me on Instagram. Are you going to do these practices? Are you going to do these 3 practices? Let me know. Let me know what your relationship with receiving is like. I love these conversations. So, full invitation to come and say, hi, I listened to podcast episode 174, and this is my relationship with receiving. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I so look forward to seeing you guys next week on Resourced, and bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to Resource with Jessica Reed. If today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with another soul-led entrepreneur who is also ready to rise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected because when you are deeply resourced, you become unstoppable. Until next time, my friend, stay resourced, stay radiant, and trust in the magic that is you.